Hi, Murray Avenue parents and guardians. My name is Evan Weisblatt. I'm the Director of Choral Activities and one of the general music teachers at Murray Avenue School. I'm super excited to share with you a few things tonight about your child's chorus or general music class. I promise I had a more entertaining presentation for you tonight, but my fiance and I just got this little fella named Buddy. Buddy. He doesn't know his name yet. He's still so little. He's trying to give me kissies. Anyway, as I was saying, I planned to give you a more entertaining presentation tonight, but because of this little fellow right here, it's going to be a little bit more straightforward, but I promise, his name's Buddy, by the way, but I promise that I'll keep it straight to the point and as brief as possible. Hi, 8th grade parents and guardians. I will be your host tonight as I introduce you to 8th grade general music, so welcome. If at any point during this video you hear a little commotion, that is because of my puppy Buddy, so my apologies in advance. I'll try to keep this as brief and to the point as possible because I know you're busy. So here we go. All right, so let's dive in. This is a presentation that I showed your student in the first few days of school, but I shortened it down a little bit so that way we could hit the most important points that you need to know as you think about general music for your student this year with me. This is just a funny photo I showed every student on the first day, just so they could see, what Mr. Weisblatt looked like when he was in middle school, because I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, so moving on. Nothing else I can really say about that. And this is just a collage. I'm going to keep moving my face out of the way. This is just a collage slide where I tell them a little bit about myself and my interests. I play guitar. I've played guitar for 16 years now, and I also play piano. I majored in voice in college, as well as, of course, music education. And here's some artists that I listen to. Pentatonics, Alan Stone, Chance the Rapper. Of course, I listen to, the Beatles, the Stones. I have a very wide taste in music, of course. This is my nephew, AJ. He is 3.5, and that's him with pasta fingers. This is my nephew, Benji. He is turning 1 on the 16th, so in just a couple of days, actually. I got engaged last fall in October, actually on October 13th. Easy date to remember. Of course, as you can see, it went well. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you that because that would just, be awkward for me to say, hey, I proposed to my girlfriend and she said no, and here's a picture to prove it. Anyway, so our wedding is set for June, and cross your fingers for us that we can have large gatherings come June. Here's a couple of my family pets, and I also tell students that I, in the spare time that I rarely have, of course, enjoy a video game here and there, and that we can have a nice conversation about, what teams we like to use and so on. This is a silly picture of my cat Daffy. She actually prefers it when her ears are in that position because, cats are weird. The students always get a good laugh out of that. Your student needs to know how they can be successful personally in music class. I call these their personal rules, and it's just simply to be on time, be nice, and to give their best effort. And my expectations for being on time really kick in starting in October for, 6th graders. And for 7th and 8th graders, they should probably know their way around the building unless they're new to the school. Of course, this year is a special year, a unique year. And so I'm being more understanding about that, of course. As far as be nice goes, I tell them they don't need to be best friends with the people in the class. They don't even really need to be friends, but they do need to be kind to each other because life is difficult enough, especially right now. And being kind can make it a little bit easier. And then finally, for their best effort, I ask them to think about the student that they strive to be and what that student's best effort would look like, and then to match that, because the only way they can become the person and the student they strive to be is to actually start doing what that student or person would do. But I tell them that, of course, these 3 things do not have to do with being good at music. They are just simply 3 personal rules that if they follow them, then they will surely have a successful time in our class. And of course, music isn't about the pressure to get the best grade you can. If students feel like they want to get a really good grade, of course, I love that. But as long as we follow, thinking creatively and expressing ourselves and trying new things, that is what music is really about. And then I talk to our students about our class rules. Bring it down to 3 golden rules. Don't interrupt. Of course, if we're in the middle of a song and we're drumming and having a good time and someone says, hey, did you know NASA's going to Mars in 2024? That's a nice fact, but not in the middle of a song. And then golden rule number 2, wait for the count in. So what does that mean? It means this: clap, go. Okay, and then usually everybody just doesn't know when to clap. It's a mess. But if I go 1, 2, ready, clap, and then the whole class knows when to clap, and they're like, whoa, that was crazy. And finally, if you play before I say, your instrument goes away. Obviously, I'm not going to be, super strict, right? I'm going to give students a couple of chances to get on board with the class, but if there's constant disruptions with the instruments, then I'll have to enforce that rule. And of course, students always understand that. What does your student need to bring to music every day? Chromebook and earbuds. That's it. But every single day, especially during these times, we're not going to be able to play as much live instruments because of sanitization and things like that. So we'll be leaning heavily on music technology, software, and games and activities and projects like that, which are equally, if not more, creative in some ways. And here's a quick overview of what your student will be learning this year in 8th grade general music. So the main topic we will cover this year, and a big unit for us, will be what I say to them is music tech and sound sorcery. And basically, we're just working with music production and recording software. We'll be using with a program called Soundtrap. It's similar to a program called GarageBand, if you happen to be familiar with that. And it's basically an entry-level music production and recording program. And students always get very excited when we work with this program because it really just opens a whole world of creative opportunities and musical expression for students. We'll also be doing another unit on drums this year, and we do our advanced drum unit where students are working with advanced rhythms that they've been led up to from 6th grade to now. And students always love that unit because who doesn't love to hit a drum? A big unit we will cover is history of listening and recording devices. For this unit, students will most likely this year create a podcast in which they create a sales pitch for a music recording or listening device from throughout history and try to convince our group of investors, their fellow classmates, to invest in their product. So we learn about how we went from the phonograph, Thomas Edison's phonograph, which was this device that in the 1800s that used a wax cylinder about this big that cost $1,000 to make and record on, which is about $30,000 in today's money, I believe. We looked that up last year, so I'm sorry if that's not quite right. But anyway, a lot of money. And we could only record one copy of one song that was 1 minute long on each cylinder. So if you wanted to give 1,000 copies to people, you would have to record that song 1,000 times. And that was my puppy again. And then we went all the way from that to Spotify's music streaming services, where for a few bucks a month, you can listen to an unlimited number of songs, seemingly unlimited, for an unlimited amount of times. So pretty cool. And then we will cover the musical Into the Woods, which is a very interesting and engaging musical that covers a lot of important life themes. And students always they get really into that musical because the video we show them of that musical is the one that the film with Meryl Streep, James Corden, Anna Kendrick, Johnny Depp, and some other famous actors and actresses. And I think it's a pretty good quality production, all things considered. And then finally, another cool thing about that musical is the composer of that musical, Stephen Sondheim, grew up in Doylestown, PA. And if he were a student today, he would go to Central Bucks School District, which just happens to be the school district where our current superintendent used to teach and serve. So they always get a big kick out of that too. And then finally, we will do a little bit of learning about blues and jazz music, because that's another great American art form along with musicals. And that's a quick snapshot of 8th grade general music. As far as grades go, I don't stress so much to the students about the breakdown of their grades. This is more for you, so you know how I'm grading them. I just simply tell them that if they follow these personal rules that and they turn in their work, of course, then they can usually expect an A, unless there's an extenuating circumstance. Because again, music class, I don't believe is about the pressure to be the best. I believe it is about thinking creatively and expressing oneself. When you go into eSchool, Home Access Center, that is what you're going to see. But again, as long as your student is following those personal rules and doing their actual best effort, we're going to have a great time. So that's a little snapshot of the semester ahead in general music with me. Please be sure to join your student's Google Classroom for music. If for some reason you can't access the Google Classroom, please just send me an email at eweisblatt@lmtsd.org right here. I'll be sure to add you right away so you can stay up to date with what we're doing in class, all the exciting things we're doing to express ourselves musically. If you just want to say hi or you have a question, any reason you might need to contact me, please feel free to do so. And of course, this is the final slide I show them. My cat Daffy is back and she says, we're going to have an amazing year together. We're not going to let anything get us down. I hope you enjoyed this short-ish presentation. I hope you're excited for your students' experience in music with me this year. Take care and stay safe.